All right, so this is what I was gonna say. Do you think that everybody who gets the death penalty deserves the death penalty? And what do you think about those who sit on death row or maybe just had a life sentence? Let's throw the death row off the table for a second. Just a life sentence, and then it comes to find out they've served 20, they served 30 years, and then DNA comes in and says you're not the one who did this. Like, what do you think about that? Because hold on, real quick. Let me
yeah,
give you my
I'm
thoughts.
glad you're bringing this
because
up.
no, because that's
it's related.
I've seen those cases of people. Actually, I was watching these clips of these people who've been vindicated, who've been like released after DNA is proven it or new evidence is presented later on, and they are free. What do you give a person that could replace 20 years worth of life?
I think the question we have to ask is, if someone is young and makes a foolish mistake,
Right.
because I've done things as a young man that I regret having done. Have you? I'm sure you have too.
I have, but Dave, wait, I need you to answer this question.
But let me pose this question to you. And honestly, I don't know the answer myself.
Right.
But it's something I need to come to grips with if I'm going to educate myself more. But can someone be rehabilitated if they made a mistake and killed somebody at a young age?
And that's going on with you. Do you believe that people change?
Can that person be changed?
Do you believe that people change?
Should they spend their entire life?
But that's still a separate issue, Dave. We'll get into that. But what I'm saying is, how do you feel when somebody is convicted of something and 20 years of their life gone, 30 years of their life gone? Like, what I'm saying is, like, and there's been people who probably been on death row. And you heard of that, like, the last hour thing where the governor calls. There's always this big thing on movies where guys getting ready to get electrocuted, guys getting ready to be, you know what I'm saying, executed. Mm-hmm. And they always got this last second chance because they call it the red phone or whatever. And if the governor calls at the last seconds and pardon them, then they don't die. But like what I'm saying is, how do you feel? Like, how do you feel that anything that somebody can be paid for 20 years, 30 years, even 1 year of your life of freedom? What would you take for that? If it was you who got locked up and then did 20 years of your life and they freed you because they found out it wasn't you.
Well, naturally, if I'm against the death penalty,
right.
I think that person should shit. I think that person should shit. Should sit in prison. Excuse me. Should sit in prison, for the rest of their days, perhaps. But
no.
If I'm not going to say that we should tell them we're putting them to death, and then they get 20 or 30 years, because that's having it both ways.
But I still don't think you get what I'm saying today. I'm saying, what about the man that was wrongfully accused? Like, you never heard of those people that get wrongfully accused, they sit in there for 10 years, then all of a sudden somebody presents some evidence and they say, well, they didn't do it after all. What kind of price would you like for 10 years of your freedom? They free you today, Dave. You ain't got to do these 10 years. We sorry, we wrong. But what we're wrong. So
well, just like anything, if I go out and wreck your car, if I bump into your car, I'm responsible for making your car whole again.
Right.
So I feel like maybe the people that made the mistakes and didn't look into it close enough and let that man suffer.
Now, I've heard people
do some type of restitution for that.
Yeah, but I've heard of people getting monetary. But, like, I just don't know the dollar amount you put on 10 years of your life.
That's a tough one, Brian. Like, it's always tough like that.
That's why I be praying to God. I be praying to God that I'm never put in a situation like that. But there's plenty of situations in my life that I could have been put in a situation like that where wrongfully accused or wrongfully blamed. But I've looked, like I said.
Well, that's what we have lawyers in courts for, okay? So, for example, my wife fell off my motorcycle and scraped her back up real bad. And we won the lawsuit where we were able to sue the driver that was at fault for making her fall off the bike.
See that? And you're one who believes in the American justice system, right?
Yeah.
See,
in a way.
Okay, now see you teetering.
In the American justice system, yeah. I don't agree with the way the prison system is run.
But it's all part of one.
But I thought to myself, okay, my wife might have some permanent scarring.
Right.
She suffered a pretty good deal of road rash. It was very painful for her. So what dollar amount would be fair for something like that? Right. And at the end of the day, it was $15,000.
At the end of the day,
they decided that was a fair amount.
And you agreed?
Yeah, we agreed.
Okay,
we took it happily.
Don't be looking at
yeah.
Okay.
We agreed. We agreed 100%.
You can look over there, but I'm just saying. I know what I'm saying is, listen. I'm just saying that I don't feel like it would be like it would have to be astronomical for me, like to lose my freedom, lose being around my family. That's time. We don't know how much time we got here on this earth. Another thing about the justice system that you mentioned, you know why I'm not? I do not. I can't stand the American justice system.
Don't
I
get me
can't stand it
started,
because
Brian.
any justice system to me, first of all, my belief is that's ran by a man is going to be corrupt because we're corrupt by nature anyway. The fact that we're in this flesh says that we're able to be corrupt and we are corruptible. And I think I kind of proved this to you the other day because as moral human beings, right? As moral human beings, we consider ourselves good, upstanding human beings by our standards. But what I'm saying is like, and I think it's safe to say you think lying is wrong. You remember when I used this concept, lying is wrong, but would you lie to protect a family member? You know, that becomes different. Would you
Or
lie?
save a life.
Yeah, to save a life. Like, I think most of the viewers watching would agree that lying is wrong, right? But, and when you think about it, you would probably lie to protect a family member. So what I was saying about being in this flesh is that when we in this flesh, we have the capability to be corrupted. So when I say the American justice system, as long as we're dictated to and governed by a man, this is political and everything. I don't believe in politics or anything. You know that. You've been my friend for a while.
You know, Brian, I've pretty much dropped out of the political arena. I don't watch the news. I
But-
don't pay attention no more
But
because I feel powerless.
yeah,
It doesn't matter what I think.
But
we can't change anything.
we can't change it. But what I was going to tell you, okay, so actually in church today, exclusive right here. If you don't hit the like button, hit the like button. You know you like the content, hit the subscribe button. Also, I need you to hit the notification bell because I'm trying to get these followers up. We at 500 plus. I need to get to 1,000. You already know what it is. All right, listen. But so we talked about this. What was it? And what we talked about this in
we need to do the hand slapping.
What?
Nothing.
No, okay,
Soul
it's
School.
okay. Listen,
Soul
Dave,
School.
Dave
Don't
was
pay no
crazy.
attention.
Dave was crazy. Listen, so we talked about this actually in church today, where there was a time where the children of God were led by a man of God, and he was getting ready to die, right? So they were saying, "Well, you're getting ready to die. Give us a king like the rest of the nations." So what happened when this happens, if you ain't following along with me, is a time in the Bible the children of God were led by a man of God, right? So the man of God was getting old and he's getting ready to die. And so the people say, you're getting ready to die. Give us a king like the rest of the nation. When you do that, God goes down a litany of things that will happen because you selected a man to be over you, right? When you were talking about earlier, obeying the laws of the land. Now, this is why it doesn't apply to a godly person. Those things don't apply because if you follow God, you will be obeying the laws of the land. So with that being said, when they got a king, God promised that the king would take your sons, take your daughters, send them to war, use them to be their soldiers, to be their protection, to fill their coffers, to take your daughters for bridesmaids and use your daughters, take 1/10 of your land. You see what I'm saying? So in essence, what God did was he was making a mockery of them. He said, no, give them a king. Give them a king because guess what? They're not rejecting you, they're rejecting me.